Hello, Jim.
Hello, Jim. Greetings, world, and greetings, Seven Spotters. This is Jim Gould calling from sunny Surrey, British Columbia, on a beautiful sunny morning. It's now 13 degrees, 7 a.m. in the morning, and I'm speaking to Jim Page, and he's also having a sunny day, but in South Africa. Here we're looking at a high of about 25 degrees, and Jim tells me it's a little different there. What's happening there, Jim?
Well, we're probably in the late stages of winter. So the forecast high today was up 17. I think it's probably crept up to maybe 20. But gloriously sunny. There are clouds around, so when the shade comes, it does turn a little chilly.
If that's winter, I'll have more of it. That's lovely.
we have typically very wet winters here, so not great days for driving an open sports car.
Oh yeah, well we know all about that. This is we live in a rainforest. This is Vancouver, British Columbia. So you know what? As I said, I don't know an awful lot about Harper cars. And I've always said this is about you and your car and not about me. So I am going to turn the camera over to you, Jim, and I'm going to let you do your thing. How's that sound?
Well, thank you. I'm going to switch the camera now over to the rear camera.
All right.
And let's go to landscape.
That
we
looks
can have a
good.
look.
All right.
Now,
I'm getting myself out of the picture here.
This is my car, affectionately known as Roxy. I purchased this car in 2013 from Craig, who's the original designer and manufacturer of Harper sports cars. Craig was inspired to build a car of his own design after building and racing a couple of sevens.
Yeah.
And finding that they didn't do quite what he wanted. Perhaps there wasn't enough room in the footwell, or the space between himself and his passenger was a little bit tight.
Yeah.
So this car is essentially 7 inspired.
Well, that's what I was saying to myself, if you don't mind me interjecting. I mean, it's 7 inspired, but it's a modern representation. I mean, what you have said and what Harper says on the website is it's the type of car that you can take to the racetrack, have a good time, but enjoy it on the road, which I think is really the essence of 7.
Well, indeed, that's very, very much what I've done. As I said, I bought this car in 2013. In 2014, it became basically my daily driver. And then in 2015, I plucked up the courage to start tracking it. And I raced in a series in Port Elizabeth, which was then my hometown. We had a series called Streetcar Challenge.
Yes.
And I raced it in the Streetcar Challenge. And I picked up, I think, three firsts, a couple of seconds, and a third, running against streetcars on a handicap basis. I think the greatest pleasure I had with this car when it was running then a Toyota 1600 blacktop 20 valve motor. And the greatest pleasure I had was in driving past a 1977 Porsche 911 with a 2.7 liter air-cooled motor. And I was able to drive past him in a straight line down the main straight of the racetrack.
Oh, that feels good, doesn't it?
It does. So it has some indication as to the slipperiness of the design.
Yeah.
The fastest I've had this car on the track is probably about 200 and just a shade under 220 kilometers an hour.
Lovely.
Since that time, I've upgraded the motor. We've gone from the normally aspirated 20 valve 1600 to a Toyota 2-liter turbo.
Yes, it's the S3
3SGTE motor.
Yep.
We put a bigger turbo on it, bigger intercooler, added water meth injection, and this car now makes it's dual mapped with a turbo boost controller. So on map 1 it makes about 201 kilowatts. On map 2, it makes just over 230.
Wow.
230 kilowatts equates to 450 brake horsepower per ton, which is squarely in Lamborghini Aventador territory. And it has performance to match. So my current 0 to 100 kilometer an hour or 0 to 62 mile an hour speed on this is around 3.4 seconds.
I'm jealous.
Now, as I said, it is derived from a 7 concept initially, but we've found that there's quite a lot of difficulty these days in sourcing front engined transmissions that are suitable for a vehicle of the size of a 7. Most of the front engine rear wheel drive gearbox housings these days are from either fairly large pickup trucks or some other obscure design, which makes it somewhat more difficult to build a 7 or a 7S type car.
Yeah.
So we've gone here to a mid-engine solution, and essentially we've taken the transmission, the drivetrain complete from the front of a modern front-wheel drive car, and picked it up and moved it back by about 6 feet. So it sits in the rear of the car. It is technically mid-engine because the engine and the transmission sit ahead of the driven axle. And here under the hood is evidence of that. So quite a large intercooler, as you can see. There is still quite a substantial amount of space under here.
That's actually quite good, isn't it?
And we've even gone so far as to basically use Macpherson Strut suspension at the rear. So we've taken the front hubs, we've taken the front suspension, and just put them all behind the driver's seat. So
the donor was actually a Celica then?
So this donor would have been a Celica or an MR2.
Okay.
The radiator is mounted in front of the engine and behind the firewall. So from the passenger compartment, there's a triangular kind of section. It's kind of difficult to see here, but this becomes effectively the firewall. Yes. Because behind that is the fuel tank. The fuel tank sits directly behind the seats and in front of the radiator.
Got it.
So we've got a very good weight balance as the tank empties. Yes. There's very little transfer of mass according to the state of the fuel gauge. The cockpit, now there is a broomstick in here for a reason, and I'll show that to you in a moment or two. The cockpit, as you can see, is quite wide.
Yes.
So we comfortably sit without rubbing shoulders or accidentally grabbing my passenger's knee when I'm looking to change gear. Yeah, so this car, as I said, is quite flexible. Having been used as a daily driver, I've run up probably close to 70,000 kilometers in this, which does mean that it is a car that has been used and exercised properly. So the concept that Craig mentioned of driving the car to the racetrack, having fun, and driving home again afterwards with a trunk full of trophies is eminently doable. Have a look at the gauges here quickly, and this one does run up to 300 kilometers an hour. So you can see that if we stretch our legs on this, the motor's been built to rev to probably 8,500, 9,000 RPM. Technically, that would give me a top end of about 270 kilometers an hour, 170 mile an hour, which is in most cases described as adequate.
Yes.
You will notice that I have a clip-off steering wheel. Steering wheel here.
Yep.
and my steering wheel has been sectioned at the top in order to provide a clear line of sight from where I am.
Yep.
Full 5-point harnesses for both driver and passenger.
Mm-hmm.
Quite an extensive footwell.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, the pedals are perfectly located to carry out heel and toe, so
Yes.
I can brake, hit the gas at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And for simplicity, we used mostly Toyota parts. So probably one of the most common cars on the road in South Africa is the Toyota Corolla in its various guises.
That and it's going to last forever because it's a Toyota.
And on top of that, you can go down to your local corner spare store and buy parts without any difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm running what we'd call big and small, so 15-inch wheels and tires on the front.
Yes.
The fronts are 205 50-15s, and the rears are 17-inch.
Mm-hmm.
We run a 255 40-17 on the rear.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see, it has quite a footprint.
It does.
These tires are Federals, RS 595s.
Mm-hmm.
They have a pretty good performance in the wet, which is actually quite remarkable for a tire of this nature. Yeah. So I'm going to put the phone down for a moment while I lift up the front end, and we can have a look under the hood at the front suspension and so on.
Look forward
One
to
moment.
While Jim's doing that, I'm just going to comment. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I noticed that Jim hopped in and out of his car with great ease. I'm so jealous because, and we all know the squeeze it takes to squeeze in to a 7.
Right. So the front end, mine is what we call the Mark 1 bodywork,
Yes.
which is pivoted at the front, allows me to undo 6 little bolts, and I can pivot up the front end. And then we get under the hood, so to speak, and we can have a look. You can see it's rocker, push rod operated, cantilevered, shocks. Battery is located at the front, air horn at the front as well, in order to scare the living daylights out of little old ladies at pedestrian crossings. Now, I also have ducted air to the brakes.
Yes.
And there's a little 45-degree coupling there that just matches up when the hood comes down. And then
very well thought out. It's beautiful.
That pops through to that. Steering rack is a standard Toyota part, and not power assisted. So we have no power assistance on the steering, no power assistance on the brakes. It's very much an analog motoring experience, which
I like it.
It really is. It's the essence of motoring to me. You will notice also that this car has a small trunk at the front, and I'll pop the body down in a moment and show you the capacity of that. I've also taken the liberty of actually putting in a small sound system. You can actually see the loudspeakers, which are mounted in the trunk, which connects to the phone and allows me to listen to the sat nav instructions when my dear friend Paula starts talking and giving directions.
Very good.
You can't hear much of it over 60 k's an hour, but that's the nature of open top motoring. Right, let me pull the front down again, and I'll give you the view into the front end.
Fabulous.
Wait, I'll throw it around. Okay, so front end, we've got the ubiquitous aero catch. Works like a charm.
It does, and look at
And
that. You've actually got some room in there, Jim.
I've got enough room for more than a dirty weekend and a change of underwear.
Yeah. Yeah.
We also keep the water mess supply
Yep.
located in the front here. That carries just about 4 liters a US gallon, and will last me, with spirited driving, that'll give me about a week's drive.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So it allows me to run in boost without worrying too much about destroying the motor.
Yes, of course.
So yes, there we are. That is the Harper Type 5.
Well,
We build
I say?
also. Now, here's a little more insight. As I said, I bought this car in 2013. In 2018, I left a job that I'd been working on in West Africa. I came back to South Africa and decided that this was actually such a nice operation. I became a partner in the business. I bought into the business and became a partner. So I'm now part of Harper Sports Cars. We build the Type 5. We also build a Type 6, which is essentially the same chassis. But what we do with the Type 6 is that we put in a small V8. Typically, we use the Lexus, the 4-liter V8.
Oh, my.
with an Audi transmission.
Yes.
We have got the dubious distinction of having built one of these cars, which now is the lap record holder at the East London Grand Prix track in East London, South Africa.
Yes.
He's running a twin-turbo 4-liter alloy V8, making about 350 kilowatt. And the car's a beast.
Yes, an experience. Amazing. I love it. Wow. What can I say? It's not. I mean, this is virtual and socially distanced. Maybe not a 7, but it is totally awesome. Thank you so much.
I'm going to throw in. Another 10 cents worth here.
Yeah.
One of the things that we've done is we've actually constructed 21 chassis of this nature here in Cape Town. But we've had a number of inquiries from people, and as a consequence of that, we're looking to offer licenses for the IP, as well as a set of body molds and full engineering drawings and support to anybody who's interested in picking up or wanting to manufacture these cars anywhere else in the world. And if anybody wanted to do so, we'd give them exclusive territorial rights along with an intellectual property license, a full set of engineering drawings, and a full set of body molds in order to manufacture these cars. So if it strikes you as something that you'd like to do along the way, or anybody who's watching this would like to do that, feel free to get in touch with us. You could find out more details on our website.
I'm all over it.
Sportscars.com.
That's fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. This is the beauty of what we're doing here, folks. I mean, the ability to reach out and touch. And I've been asked why do a live stream instead of just a canned picture, because the picture or a canned video is so much more heavily pixelated. But it's the emotion and the moment that you get in a live experience that you just can't replace. This is fabulous, Jim. Thank you so very much.
Well, thank you, Jim. And as I said, this is my little beauty, my Roxy. I have a great deal of fun with her, and we've spoken about it. I think you and I have spoken about this in the past. But one of the things that I find so many people with sports cars are so fond of doing is saying to people, "Don't touch. Get away from my car." So when we put the car on show, we have these signs which get on there.
I know. I noticed that on the website and on the pictures on your page. It's absolutely fabulous, and it's exactly the right thing to do too.
And generating producing new generation petrol heads
Absolutely.
is just so fabulous.
Absolutely right. Well,
So yes, there we go.
there we go. I think we're just about to wind it up, but I'm going to ask you to turn your camera around one more time, and we'll see if we can put each other back in the picture. There we go. Here I am.
Done. Come on. Turn around, baby.
There we go. No, here we are. There we go.
There we go.
All
Look
right.
at that.
Jim, this has been a long time coming. I have to say thank you so very much. It's just awesome.
Well, Jim, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I hope I've given the opportunity for a few people to get an insight into the Harper Type 5 and Type 6, and yeah, we'd be happy to build a car to order anytime. Just as I said, all the contact details are on the website. Give us a shout, and let us see what we can do for you.
Wonderful. With that, I'm going to say goodbye for now, and I look forward to hopefully maybe doing this again. I mean, I'm open to blatant and self-serving advertisements from you any time of the week.
Thank you so much, Jim. Appreciate it, and thanks to all the viewers out there. Look forward to hearing from you.
All right. Cheers. For now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.